Hello and welcome to my channel. Ubiquiti has finally released the new UXG Pro, so I pulled the trigger and ordered one to replace my old USG. So today I would like to go over the migration I recently did on my home network. So okay, let's take a look at my current setup. Okay, so as you can see, I have AT&T Fiber, which uses Intertek fiber converter in conjunction of an older PACE router modem. I'm using the RJ45 Cat6 cables between all wired devices. Those are the green cables and green lines in between. I have both of my wireless access points as well as low bandwidth devices connected to the US8 switch. Also, my D-Link switch is daisy chained to US8 switch, which is not optimal. My QNAP server is connected to the D-Link with a SFP Plus port, which is a 10 gig. So my goal, besides swapping out the current firewall, is to flatten the network a bit and to rearrange the connections to take a bit more advantage of the 10 gig SFP Plus port on the new UXG Pro. Here's the new design. So as you can see, I have connected my D-Link directly to the UXG Pro with the SFP Plus, which is 10G. So the new design, basically I have the SFP Plus connected to the UXG Pro LAN 4, LAN 2, which is the Cat6 RJ45 connected to the US8 switch, and the rest of the devices, which is basically my wireless access points, and one of the receivers connected to the US8. The rest of the devices that are connected are all wired on a D-Link switch, and that's where most of the data flow occurs between the QNAP server when we play movies or view pictures or even play music or whatever else. Okay. Also, as I'm double NATing, I will need some setup to be a little different than out of the box UXG Pro comes with. So I will use my older laptop to connect to the UXG Pro with a Cat6 or Cat5 cable on the LAN 2 port, which is a 1 gig. Let's take a look at that.
Okay, I have switched to my older laptop now. First, I will set the static IP on my laptop to the subnet of 192.168.1.0/24 to match the default subnet that UXG came with. This will allow me to access it and set the IPs to the ones that I have on my current USG. Okay, so let's open a command prompt by holding the Windows key and hitting the R key on the keyboard. I can type in CMD for command and hit enter to execute, okay, which gives us the prompt. Okay, so I think I'm gonna capture my current settings just in case, so you can do it by issuing a command IP config /all. I'm gonna redirect it to a file for later in case if I need it. IP settings, let's say before uxg.txt. Okay, so now we want to go to the network control panel. Since I already have the prompt open, I'm just going to use a command line. So we can start the network control panel by running a ncpa.cpl So ncpa.cpl command, hit enter. Yes, so this will bring it up. So here all I need is basically I will use my Cat6 cable connected to my 1 gig network card that's on a laptop. So I will need to change the properties on a TCP IP. That's all we really need. And let's say assign it random 192.168.1. Let's say that's 7. I hit the tab, which gives us already good correct subnet mask. And just click OK on this and close. Okay, so I've already unpacked and mounted the UXG Pro. So let me connect the Cat6 cable to it, and then we'll continue. I'll be right back. Okay, so I just connected the cable. Took a little longer because I had to take care of my dogs. Okay, so I think we already set the IP here. Yes, okay, so that's we're fine here. So I'm gonna just enable this interface now. This is fine. Let's see if we can ping it. 192.160. Yes, we can ping it. Let's start a web page. Uh, 192.168.1.1. Okay, so I'm going to configure IPs. The one setting, we're going to set it to static IP. And that's 192.168.1.70. Or 192.168.1.254. 24 bits. I'll do a DNS servers, localhost, and what else? Okay, so now we need to change that to 99, and I'm gonna have a DHCP server. I'm gonna disable for now. So 168.99.1. So it picks up all the values from the network application. Okay, so my old values were basically I'm using an IP, static IP, to fulfill the connectivity to the existing PACE router from AT&T, and I assigned the static IP to it, and then going back to the LAN site of the UXG, I assigned it a 192.168.99.1 IP address and apply the changes. Okay, and now we will actually change the properties of that. So we will update the TCP IP address to match, and now let's see if we can ping it. Yes, okay, so the IP has changed, so we should be set up there. Okay, so let me switch back to my main computer and then we'll continue.
Okay, so I'm back in my main computer where I run my Unified Controller software. I flipped the cable back to the US8 switch from my old laptop, and I see that UXG is already showing up in the console, in the controller, under the devices. I'm gonna go ahead and adopt it. It doesn't seem like there are any updates for the firmware. By the way, today is March 29th, 2022. I'll go ahead and click the adopt. I'm not sure if I mentioned it, but if you try to adopt it without manually changing the IPs ahead of time, your adoption will fail. So that's why you gotta do this extra step. Now again, if you double netting like I am, and you are not using the default 192.168.1 network. Okay, so this thing is still adopting. Seems like there was a hiccup. It's provisioning. Fingers crossed this goes through. I mean, I see 28 clients, so it's doing something. Oh, it looks like it's adopted. Let's take a look. The ports are not connected yet. Okay, there we go. I guess it just took a while for the console to update. So looks like the LAN 4, which is the SFP Plus, is connected with a 10 gig to my D-Link, and the US8 switch is connected to the LAN 2 with the Cat6 cable, and the Cat6 cable to the PACE router. Okay, so this looks fine. I'm gonna go ahead and give it a shorter alias, UXG-Pro. Also, I'm not using this feature. This is there's an outlet on the back of the unit which is controlled automatically by UXG. If there is no internet access, it will automatically reboot whatever the device you have plugged into it. So we'll basically take the power away from that outlet temporarily. I'm going to disable it since I don't use it. I'm going to save that. Okay, so this looks fine. These two are my older access points, which I didn't forget from the system because I'm planning to use them, one in the garage and one in another spot. So I don't want to lose the configurations. Let's see, we got an alert here. So it's the standard stuff. Okay, oh, I see that it actually triggered the outlet, so that's good. I didn't plug it in. I'm gonna archive these. Devices look good. Dashboard. Okay, so the attention is because of the two access points, which is fine. So looking good. Threat management. Actually, let's take a look, and I believe we need to enable it. I have not had that enabled previously. Oh no, it's already enabled. Great. So I think I already, yes, I did enabled it before I swapped the unit. So it's repopulated automatically, which is great. One thing I would like to mention is that I'm on the controller version 6.5.55. I didn't update to the late. There are two more additional versions that are newer, but I haven't updated to those yet. So this is working just fine with the 6.5.55. And so all in all, it turned out to be a pretty painless upgrade. Just had to make sure that I had the configuration saved from the original USG due to the different IP schemes. And thank you for watching, and good luck with your upgrade.